step forward, a story untold. Berlin, you whisper, brave and bold. In every shadow, a dream begins, secrets waiting deep within. Welcome to Hidden Berlin.
To truly know a city, you have to follow its pulse. In Berlin, that pulse isn't found in the U-Bahn or the crowded sidewalks. It's right here, on the Spree River, is the reason Berlin exists. Stretching 400 kilometers, it was the lifeblood for medieval merchants. As we drift, the water reflects a mixture of Prussian royalty and gritty modernism, a liquid mirror for a city that has worn many faces. The Stadt des Friedens, the city of peace. To the left lies the Nikolaiviertel. This isn't just a neighborhood, it's Berlin's birth certificate, standing as a quiet, quaint reminder of the village that eventually grew into the sprawling world capital. We turn back to the shadow in the direction of the Berliner Dom, the city's grandest Protestant cathedral. We approach the Friedrichsbrücke, a bridge that feels like a gateway between the eras. Completed in 1703, it's one of the oldest bridges in Berlin. It is incredibly low. In the 18th century, they weren't exactly planning for double-decker tour boats such as this one. Now the scenery shifts from stone to glass. We're entering the Band des Bundes, the ribbon of the government. We have spoken about the Reichstag or the parliament before in a previous episode, but from the water you truly see its evolution. Above it sits the glass dome. It's a massive mirrored cone that reflects natural sunlight into the parliamentary chamber. Right next to it is the Paul Löbe House, with its glass cylinders housing the Chamber of Lawmakers. Right next to it is the Bundespressekonferenz, the stage of Germany's political theater. Nearby, the Federal Ministry of Education and Research. The building actually houses a kindergarten for the children of government employees. Even in the center of German bureaucracy, there is always room for the next generation. We glide alongside the Hugo Preuss Bridge, named after Hugo Preuss, the Jewish lawyer who actually wrote the Weimar Constitution. It was blown up in the final days of World War II. It wasn't until 2004 that it was finally rebuilt and reclaimed its original name. A Jewish legacy that found and fought its way back into modern Berlin. Now the Spreebogenpark, the park on the round bow of the Spree River. It offers a green oasis with the Swiss embassy visible in the distance as we approach the ornate Moltkebrücke. It's one of the most beautiful bridges on the Spree, made of red sandstone and adorned with ornate sculptures. The Nazis tried to blow it up before the Soviet Red Army's advance onto the Reichstag, but luckily the charges didn't detonate fully. And now the heavy hitter, the Bundeskanzleramt, the Federal Chancellery. Berliners in their dry wit call it the washing machine because of its massive 7-story circular window. It's the largest government headquarters in the world, 8 times the size of the White House in Washington, D.C. As the bow turns and the Spree spreads out wide, the Siegessäule, the victory column, glimmers in the distance. Rivers are funny things. They never flow backward, yet they carry every era of the past within their silt. The Spree has seen kings, dictators, wars, and raves. It has seen monarchy, Nazism, communism, and democracy. Yet it doesn't judge, it just moves. It reminds us that no matter how solid a city feels, how heavy the stone, or how thick the glass, life is always in flux. Thanks for sailing with me today. If you felt the pulse of the city, hit subscribe and join me on the next episode of Hidden Berlin.